Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mama Tatul YouTube channel where we give you clean, relatable content for everyone and anyone. And today's topic is about to have or not to have kids. Yes, we know it's a controversial one, but we just found ourselves talking about it just from nowhere, and why not?
Na ndio maana mimi husema kama mtu hataki watoto wacha kae tu kama hana. As in, it's not a must that you have kids so that you can settle societal the standards of the society. As in, it is your decision to make. If I am to be asked kupata mtoi inafaa kuwa kama venye you want to build a house, now you save for it, you buy materials for it, you plan ahead. Or you start by buying land, buying materials, looking for someone to give architecture, those architectures people, when you're wanafanyanga hizo drawings, you do that the way you plan yourself from the beginning to the end. That is how you should plan for a baby. It's not supposed to just come. So it's a decision you're supposed to make. Do I want kids?
So sisi wenye tulijipata na watoto tutaambia nini watu ama tufanye nini? Because do you want to say ama do you think zile standards zote ama ile programming yote tumefanywa kutoka tukiwa watoto? Because I believe hata tukiwa watoto, hata watu wasai wanaulizwa utataka kuwa na watoto wangapi ukikuwa mkubwa, like they have already been programmed. Hiyo ni stage ya life na lazima uipitie, and like ni lazima, and if you do not, kuna vile tu society inakuchukulia like a lesser person, like in fact unakani kama mtu wako disabled in a way.
Saa ile mimi nadhani tunafaa kuwa tunauliza watu ni badala unataka kukua na watoto wangapi, tunafaa kuuliza kwanza utataka kukua na watoto ukiwa mtu mkubwa, kwa sababu it's not given that every other kid ama every other human being want to have kids.
No, me I think we don't even need to ask them if that is where you are coming from, because kama ni a choice, we call it a choice, eh? If it is a choice, we don't ask people what they choose in life.
You know why?
So you just let them be.
Watoto kama ni watoto wako,
wazazi ndio wapunguze expectation.
Kama ni watoto wako ama watoto wenye uko a guardian, unajua ni kwa nini unafaa kuwauliza? Kwa sababu for every other thing yenye ina happen in future ya huyo mtoto unafaa kumprepare for. Kama venye unafundishanga mtoto wako ati unamwambia msichana anafaa kupika ndio ajue kupikia bwana yake, na hujai muuliza kama anataka kuolewa.
Exactly. But that is very wrong. That
so
is very wrong.
Unafaa you are every other day unalea huyo mtoto, you are preparing them for the future. So even in the decision making, you should prepare them for the future. If they say they don't want to have kids, you should prepare them for that future of staying childless.
In fact, the reason why I raised this topic is because juzi we were school hunting for my son, because shule alikuwa ameitwa ilikuwa mbali sana, so hatungependa ende huko. So what happened is tumezunguka shule kadhaa, tunaenda tunaambiwa acheni report, sijui nini mtapigiwa nini, kwingine tunapotea barabara. Like it was very hectic, na tulikuwa na yeye kwa gari, like tumeshinda na yeye, so anachekizi hassles zote. At one point my son told me after kuona hassles, he was like, hey, ati kama hii ndio hassle ya kukua na watoto, I think I'm going to reconsider my decision of ever having kids in future. And I was like, is it a decision you should make?
No, yeah. I
was like, this boy, mimi nimekuzaa, mbona wewe usilete generation hapa nyuma?
Na lakini hiyo decision ya kumzaa ilikuwa ni yako, na hufai kuimpose decision yako on him.
But listen, our time, like mimi confession, mimi nilipata mtoto at a very young age. I was 20. So I didn't know any better. It was not a decision. It was tough, and then our society says we should have children. So in fact, so it is even good that I've had one mapema nile nijimalizania na ingori. Unajua,
lakini hakuna pahali society inafaa kuset standards ya venye utaishi maisha yako. As in, there is right, there is wrong, but there is no way the society is supposed to set a standard ya venye utaishi maisha yako. Tuseme kama saa hii nipate mtoto na siko financially stable kulea huyo mtoto, the same society itaanza kunijaji kisema alikuwa anapata mtoto wa nini na anajua hana kitu ya kumfeed. Ama as in, the society will always have something to say. Either way, you will be damned if you do, damned if you don't. So kuna pahali mtu unajiita mkutano, you ask yourself, am I ready for this responsibility? Yes, there are those times when you get a baby unprepared, like in your case, but me, I think we should get into a, but those people who are in a position to make a decision whether they want to have or not, we should let them be. Kwa sababu kuna watu walipata watoto without having decided whether they want or they don't. But those who are able to make a decision, why should we judge them and look at them like they are lesser or they are selfish, and it's them who do not want?
I see where you're coming from. Personally, I do not have a problem with someone making a decision concerning their womb. As in, it's your womb. Vile unataka na ukitaka kuleta watoto 20, as long as utalea, ukisikia utaki, ukisikiaje, but si wewe ulizaliwa, ulilelewa, utaki yako ka continuity ka generations.
No, but who said we are here to...
That's the dunia itaisha. See, the earth will... See, we are told in the Bible we should fill the earth.
We should fill the earth, but also the Bible says that this world will come to an end. How do you know whether it is your responsibility to fill the earth and it is also your responsibility to let the earth end? This world will come to an end anyway, and it's the Bible that says that.
Hey, looking at it from both sides,
eh? So ni responsibility yako kuijaza na ni responsibility yako pia kusaidia kuimaliza, kwa sababu itaisha tu. So effort yako ni kuijaza tu, hauna effort yoyote kumaliza.
Au tuambi vizuri.
No, I am asking, as in, this thing happens both ways. As in, it will be filled, the world, the earth will be filled, and the earth will come to an end. As in, are we here to just make an effort of filling the earth?
You watu wa hii woke generation mko na mambo sana. You are making us feel like tuna overdo mambo.
No, it is not like we are woke, but it's like we are getting revolutionized. We are asserting, we are going beyond, we are unlearning and learning. Because we cannot follow the same trend over the years and stamp it like the right thing. There can never be only one right thing. Lazima kukue kuna kitu ingine, hata kama it's not necessarily wrong, but there can be two right things. As in, it cannot not only be one, atuseme hiyo ndio kitu right peke yake in the entire world. No, there can be two right things.
The only reason, the only place that I would agree with you on this issue of having children is one. Mahali unapata mtu amepata watoi beyond uwezo wake, inafika mahali haizi manage watoto, wana have kuteseka ama na have kukua burden
to
other people, especially relatives. You know, like there's this meme sijui kama nitaipata niweke somewhere kwa hii conversation. There's this meme ilikuwa inasema at right now there's a relative somewhere making babies hoping that you will take care of them.
Yeah.
You know, that is wrong, because I feel like mtu anafaa grasp ile kitu ataweza
Me, I'm always advocating for you should get kids that you are able to raise, and the kids that you've made should not be anyone's burden. They should be your own burden because you made those kids.
So as we are raising our children, because we want them now to view things from a different perspective, so the thing that we should be asking them is, first, do you really want to have kids?
You tell them kids are good, and I had you,
and you are awesome.
But you have a choice. You can choose not to have. And also,
why you want them? There is a why. Is it because unataka kupit kwa?
Do you want to have kids because you think they are just beautiful? Are you able to raise those kids that you want to have? And that should be a very pertinent question. You should be asking yourself, am I able to raise them? Because me, I'm thinking when you are having kids, you should have their life planned from day one to the day they graduate. Like, you should have it planned. Like, even if you do not have them.
We live one day at a time, girl.
No.
We live one day at a time. Vile tu inakaa mnake flow.
Hakuna kitu ya kusema iflow kwa sababu si ati huyo mtoto masomo itaflow hivi. Si huyo mtoto kukula itaflow hivi. As in you're supposed to provide.
Like now together.
Unafaa kujiuliza, do I have the ability to provide for these kids? Like tuseme,
lakini si yao watoto tunasikia wanakuja na sahani yao.
But it ni responsibility yako kujaza hiyo sahani.
Oh, sahani inakuja ikiwa empty. Oh.
So,
by the way, that one I can attest to.
Unafaa kujiuliza,
the sahanis I have been feeling.
This kid anakuja na sahani yake, mimi niko able kuijaza. Kwa sababu hata kaa hapo na sahani empty muangaliane ama ukalie hiyo sahani ya kuangalie.
Then on that case I feel like peer parents tunafaa to reduce expectations. The expectations we have kwa watoi wetu, because kuna age mtoto anafika, especially mdemu, unasikia hai tu kamwe, pata tu hata kama ni kamoja uleange.
Unaona kuna age unafika, umeolewa.
And then your age mate wote wako na timu mkikutana mahali.
Unaanza kuambiwa ati hata kama huolewi, si upate tu katoi ule. Cause it's like, ni kama wadhi yako iko tied to having a family. Me, I don't think a person's worth is tied to having a family. Having a family is good, but it is not the only good thing that you can do with your life. You can do other things. Now, there's something, I think I have had these things since I was little. Because when I was young, I used to tell myself, unless I am super rich, I'm not going to have kids.
Like that is a thought that you had since you were
I have
little.
always had thoughts since I was a little girl. I think less than 10 years. There was a very rich man in our village, and I used to say, unless I am rich like that guy, I'm not going to have kids. Because I was like, you see, when we were growing up, every home had their two issues, especially financial, and as in we all say that we came from humble background, no matter how what background you came from. So me, I was thinking the background I came from, it's not a background that I would love. And I always used to say I wouldn't want to raise my kids in that background. So I was like, the only thing that is making my background not fit is because my parents are not super rich. So I was like, I will never have kids unless I am super rich. Because I was like, because I used to like, how would my parents bring me to this world to face it? No inheritance, no trust fund, no nothing.
No insurance cover.
No insurance. Like, I am just here to face it by myself. And I was like, how unfair can that be? And I'm like, really? They have to do that to me. At some point, I was not thinking like, I am grateful my parents brought me up. And I was like seriously? They have to? Not like every other day, but at some point when you are overwhelmed by issues that are happening and you are like, they have to. Did I have to face these issues? Like, if my parents didn't have me, I wouldn't be facing the issues that I'm facing. And I didn't want to ever get into a situation where my kids are saying the same things about me. So I was like, if I am able to give them the best, I will have them. Until I am able to give them the best, I will not.
So I think there are two sets of people. Ama, it is not wrong to grow up wanting kids. That is a person's preference. Like, you have grown not to want kids until you are very, very rich.
No, I have always wanted kids, but on a particular condition. Until that condition is perfect, I wouldn't have them. I would have them only if my conditions are met. If I am bringing them into the right condition. It's not like I would not want to have them like ever. I used to say I will have kids when I'll have kids if. Not that I didn't want. Like, I have decided that I will never ever have kids. But now, growing into situations and circumstances, I'm like, do I really want to? After all,
Because adulting, what?
Because adulting, well,
Adulting is not easy, especially.
and then the bills, as in I have not completely ruled out on living with kids, because I live with kids. As in, I have relatives, I have friends, as in, there are kids all over in my life.
Mhm.
It's not like I don't like kids.
I know actually you are the best auntie.
Yeah,
Mm.
but that responsibility, like it is entirely on me. That is what it's kinda difficult for me right now.
There's this lady, anaitwa Ebi Weyime. She's a YouTuber. I think the owner of Grace Cup Kenya something. The CEO. She has been trolled over the last 3 weeks. Amekuwa trolled sana online juu ya Twitter aliweka like her, she's a child free woman and she's like, I don't want to ever, in fact she tied her tube. The kind of trolling that woman has gone through left me wondering, hey, in society yetu we are very far.
A choice. As in, you
We
see,
are-
I have had issues with the way the society handle issues, especially very personal issues. You see, when you are advanced in age and you are not married, the society will take it upon them to ask you why you are not. If you get married and you take too long before having kids, the society still will make it their responsibility to ask you why you're not having kids. When you separate or you divorce, they will wonder why you couldn't keep a home. When when you have just one kid, they will ask you why you are not having many. When you have 4, they will say those kids are too much. So the society always have some expectations which you cannot meet as a person. And if you tie your life into the societal standards, you will not have any life. So it's a matter of making a decision like, do I want kids? And people should respect that. The way people respect a decision like, today I am going to Mombasa. And people respect that decision because it is you're spending your money or you're driving your car. As in, and it is your time. And nobody questions why have you decided to go to Mombasa for a holiday instead of Malindi? Why are you going to Mombasa instead of Maldives and yet you can afford? And the society does not, why should it be concerned with something very sensitive as having kids?
For us who want kids, do you think there's an age for that? Like usipate mtoto before fike hii age, atakuzuia ku attain so much in life. Is there that?
There are people who got their kids at 19, people I know, a person that I know, and they have lived a very frustrated life because they didn't go to school after that. They could not find a job. They started businesses which didn't pick up. I am not saying it is because of the kids, but they have had the burden of raising the kid even with those circumstances. There are people that I know. There's a person I know who got their kid at 39, and they have suffered medically and financially, because even at 39 they were not having the kids because they were ready. They were having the kids because
There
time.
was too much pressure
And time, and I don't want to get to 40, and where that geriatric age where you can no longer conceive or you cannot have kids like success free. And both the 19 one and the 39 one, they have both had their share of pain and suffering. There's a woman that I know that had waited for a baby for long, and she got her first baby at 42 and the second baby at 44. And she's okay. She's happy. The babies are healthy. She's healthy.
Si wale wa kuona mgambo wa Muremi.
Hapana. Hapana. By the way, she's a person that I know personally. Personally. And she had been married for like 10 years. She was divorced because she couldn't have any kids. And after the divorce, she
met another man who loved her unconditionally, and it is in that marriage that she got the kids at 42 and at 44, and they are happy, and the kids are okay, and she is healthy. So with those case studies, I don't think there's a right age or wrong age, because as in, you can have kids at 20 and be happy. My sister got a kid at 20 and she's okay and she's happy. You got a baby at 20 and you're okay and you are good. There are people who got a baby at 20 and they are suffering a lot because they cannot raise the kids alone, or they cannot provide for the kids. So age is a non-factor.
And this applies to both men and women, or now we are talking more on the women's.
Me, I think the only thing that I would consider for any gender when they want to have kids is their ability to raise those kids. I think,
And
are you?
could that be the reason why we have so many deadbeats?
That is why, because many people.
Squeezy deadbeats too, see wanaume. By then we have a lot of deadbeats
moms.
Very
Yes.
many.
Yeah. And you see, the reason why it's like that is because we were not given the opportunity to make that decision. As in, you get into a relationship, you settle in a marriage, and you think the way life is supposed to flow is having kids. As in, it like goes without saying. You do not get to a point of asking yourself, are we ready for this? So you go ahead and have kids, and then later on you realize it's not working, you leave, and you see all those things. It's because we were not given the opportunity to make that decision, and it is a very important decision. And I'm wondering, when you want to buy a car, you go to a showroom, you shop, you can shop for a whole month for a car. You even test drive, you go to various showrooms, you carry your mechanic with you so that they can check the car, especially if it's a second-hand car. And we are putting so much effort and decision making into buying something like a land or like a car, but we do not put the same effort into making a decision when we want to bring a life, for heaven's sake.
And it's reversible. You know, a car you can sell it at any time.
So, but when you have a baby, it's permanent. You're going to have that kid for the rest of your life as long as you are alive, and that baby is going to depend on you. So why are we not being given a decision to choose whether we want to have them or not? Why does it look evil? Why does it look selfish when I say I have decided not to have them now, or I have decided not to have them ever?
I get you.
Yeah, because it is a very important decision that you will have to live with and support for the rest of you, and that is a life. If there is some happiness that is lacking in your life because you do not have nieces or grandkids, even when they come, you will not have that happiness, because happiness has to start with you, come from within, I think. So me, I think the decision to have kids or not to have them should be left to the person who will have them. And me, I think it is okay not to want kids. Like, you decide.
Now that you've made me understand, I think I'm okay with anyone who doesn't want kids.
It is okay not to want. By the way, it is very okay not to want kids.
Wow.
I know it is controversial, and it is not a gospel that most of us subscribe to, especially because of the way we have been brought up and the programming of the society. But as for me, I respect anyone who says this is a decision that I have to make and I don't want to. As in, I respect them fully, and I would never ask a person questions, why don't you want? If they have decided they don't want, they don't want. It is not up to me to know why. It is their It is their decision. So I respect 100%. By the way, I support.
Do you support? Do you respect? Do you agree with the choice of having or not having a child? Wow. Let's know in the comment section. Subscribe.